What if I told you this $100 holds the potential to grow into over $1 million? This isn't based on a secret strategy, but on a fundamental mathematical principle. I understand the immediate skepticism. It sounds like the kind of claim often associated with higher risk ventures or get-rich-quick schemes. And you are right to be cautious. However, this strategy is not about speculative betting or a volatile market trend. It's about leveraging one of the most powerful forces in finance, compound interest. It's a force so significant that it has often been attributed to Albert Einstein as the eighth wonder of the world. I'm going to demonstrate this principle and, more importantly, show you why accumulating your first $100,000 isn't just 10% of the journey to $1 million. In terms of time invested, it represents the most significant milestone well past the halfway point. Let me show you how. The flawed premise: why your savings account is a financial dead end. Before we explore the mechanics of compounding, let's first address a common misconception about wealth accumulation. We are often advised to save diligently, placing our money in traditional bank accounts, or perhaps a high-yield savings account for a slightly better return. Let's analyze that outcome. Imagine you place $100 in a leading high-yield savings account, earning a generous 4% annual interest. After 30 years, that $100 grows to just $324, not a life-changing sum. Now consider a more disciplined approach, adding $100 every month for 40 years. This can be a disheartening process. The incremental gains feel disproportionately small compared to the discipline required, leading many to conclude that starting with small amounts is futile. But what if there were a method to accelerate this growth exponentially? This is where we transition from the concept of simple saving to the strategy of compounding returns. The aha moment, the unstoppable snowball. So, what exactly is compound interest? A common analogy is the snowball effect. Imagine you are at the top of a large snow-covered hill with a small snowball. Representing your initial $100, as you begin to roll it, it gathers more snow and increases in size. The key insight is this: the larger the snowball becomes, the more surface area it has, allowing it to pick up snow at an ever-increasing rate. Its growth accelerates. Compounding works on the same principle. It is the process whereby your investment earns returns, and then those returns begin to generate their own returns. In financial terms, your money generates earnings. Those earnings are then reinvested and also begin to generate their own earnings. Initially, the growth is slow, but over several decades, this process can create a significant amount of capital working for you around the clock, leading to explosive growth. This isn't a market secret. It's a mathematical certainty. Harnessing it doesn't require specialized expertise. It requires three core components: an initial investment, consistent contributions, and the most critical variable of all, time. The mathematical proof from $100 to $1.6 million. Let's move from the theoretical to the practical and examine the numbers. We will use a standard compound interest calculator. Here are the variables for our projection. First, our initial investment, a one-time deposit of $100. Second, our monthly contribution. This will fuel the compounding process. We will invest an additional $300 every month, which is about $10 a day. While this requires discipline, for many, it's an achievable amount. Third, the annual rate of return. This is where we move beyond a savings account. We'll model an investment in the US stock market via a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. Historically, the S&P 500 has delivered an average annual return of about 10%. For this illustration, we will use a slightly more conservative figure of 9%. It is critical to remember that past performance is not a guarantee of future results, but this figure serves as a reasonable long-term average for our projection. And finally, the timeline. Time is our most potent asset. We will set the time horizon to 40 years, akin to someone starting at age 25 and planning for retirement at 65. To summarize, a $100 initial investment, $300 contributed monthly, a 9% average annual return, compounded over 40 years. The projected result is $1,583,450. Consider that outcome, nearly $1.6 million, generated from a disciplined habit of investing approximately $10 per day. Now let's analyze the progression by decade. After 10 years, your balance is approximately $58,000. You've contributed $36,100. so your returns are about $22,000. After 20 years, your balance is roughly $184,000. You have contributed $72,100, and your returns now exceed $110,000. This is the pivotal moment when investment growth begins to surpass your personal contributions. After 30 years, the effects of compounding become significantly more pronounced. Your balance is now over $527,000 from your contributions of about $108,000. You have over $400,000 in pure growth. Notice it took 20 years to reach $184,000, but only 10 more to add an additional $340,000. In the final decade, from year 30 to year 40, your portfolio experiences exponential growth, expanding from $527,000 to over $1.5 million. In this last decade alone, your portfolio generates over $1 million in growth. This is the power of compounding, reaching its maximum velocity. This illustrates the concept I mentioned earlier. Achieving the first $100,000 is often the temporal halfway point. The subsequent growth is far more rapid due to the larger capital base that is now compounding. If you're finding this useful, and the light bulb is starting to go on, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button. My entire goal is to make this kind of financial knowledge easy and accessible for everyone. And your support helps me do exactly that. The how-to making this real. The mathematics are sound, but what is the practical application? The process is more straightforward than many people assume. Step 1. Open the right account. For most U.S. investors, a tax-advantaged retirement account like a Roth IRA is an excellent starting point. A Roth IRA is an individual retirement account where you contribute post-tax dollars. The significant advantage is that your investments grow tax-free, and qualified withdrawals in retirement are also tax-free. This is a substantial benefit compared to a standard taxable brokerage account, where capital gains on that $1.4 million of growth would be subject to taxation. Step 2. Fund the account. Set up automatic transfers for the $300 monthly contribution or your chosen amount. Automating contributions is a key element of this strategy. This practice, known as dollar cost averaging, removes emotion from the investment process and ensures consistency even during periods of market volatility. Step 3. Invest the money. This step can be a source of apprehension, but it can be simplified. The strategy does not rely on picking individual stocks. Instead, it utilizes a broadly diversified low-cost index fund. A prime example is an S&P 500 ETF, which trades under ticker symbols like VOO or IVV. These funds provide instant diversification by holding positions in the 500 largest U.S. companies. Furthermore, they feature extremely low expense ratios, often around 0.03%, ensuring that the majority of your returns are retained in your portfolio rather than being consumed by management fees. That is the entire foundation of the strategy. Open a tax-advantaged account, automate contributions, and invest in a low-cost, diversified index fund. It is essential to be unambiguous on this point. This is not a method for rapid wealth creation. It is a long-term, disciplined approach to building wealth. The numbers are real, and the path is proven. But it requires two of the most challenging traits for investors: patience and discipline. There will inevitably be periods of market decline. It is not uncommon for the market to experience corrections where your account value will decrease. This can be psychologically challenging. However, a loss is only realized if you sell your positions at a low. By staying the course and continuing your regular contributions, you are effectively purchasing more shares at a lower price. While past performance is no guarantee, market history demonstrates a consistent trend of recovery and upward growth over the long term, overcoming major events like financial crises and pandemics. It can be tempting to compare this steady approach to the speculative pursuit of higher-risk assets. The allure of a 10-bagger stock can make index fund investing seem slow by comparison. However, that perspective misses the core principle. The primary driver of returns in this strategy is not selecting a single winning investment, but rather the length of time your capital is allowed to compound. A 20-year-old who invests $100 a month has a significant advantage over a 40-year-old who invests $1,000 a month, because the person with a longer time horizon will almost always achieve a better outcome in the compounding process. Never assume your $100 is too small to make a difference. Every dollar you invest today is your most valuable asset, with the longest and most productive career ahead of it. To reiterate, how can one grow an initial $100 into over $1 million? The strategy rests on 3 fundamental pillars. 1. Start now, not tomorrow or next month, but today. Time is your most valuable and finite resource. The longer your money is invested, the less capital you personally need to contribute to be consistent. Automate your investments to treat them as a non-negotiable financial commitment to yourself, much like a mortgage or utility payment. Consistency is what allows the compounding process to work, regardless of market conditions. And 3. Keep it simple. Complex strategy is not required. A low-cost, diversified index fund, held within a tax-advantaged account like a Roth IRA, is one of the most proven and effective methods for an individual to build substantial wealth over the long term. The path from $100 to $1 million is not predicated on exceptional insight, luck, or excessive risk. It is predicated on discipline, patience, and allowing the mathematical principle of compounding to work over time. The tools and knowledge to begin this process are accessible to you now. The only remaining variable is your decision to start.